This real-life cyborg is the scariest woman in MMA. At 39 years of age, Cris Cyborg destroys opponents with the strength of men. Because she has already taken the souls of numerous opponents in the past 2 decades.
That might have hurt her. Van Duyn just goes down to the floor. It's done! Steve Mazzagatti has seen enough! Christiane Cyborg Justino!
The deadly old woman decided to take fights against giants who towered over her. Yet the result of these unfair contests stayed the same. It seems that this beast's power grows with age.
She's not answering. Carano getting pounded. She better watch out.
And she has maintained an 80% knockout rate inside the cage, and it's clear the past and future belongs to MMA's greatest Amazonian. Having won the most titles in women's MMA history, it's time we revisit this dominant queen's most exciting fights. This is Boxing Guts. Let's go! Real name, Christiane Justino Venancio. Cyborg wasn't manufactured in a lab. Number rather, born in Brazil to an alcoholic father and divorced parents, Cyborg was exceptional playing handball at a young age. But needing to provide for her family, she soon switched to the no-barred violence of MMA, where she played hard fists with her opponents' faces. Cyborg versus Gina Carano. On August 15th, 2009, in the main event of the time's biggest fight in women's MMA history, Cyborg clashed against the original Golden Girl of MMA, Gina Carano. Coming into this fight, the unbeatable Carano was the biggest star in women's mixed martial arts ever. With close to 1 million audience watching live, the hype was great, but the fight was even better. Cyborg quickly unleashed brutal bombs and made Carano kiss the canvas.
Quickly to jump on Gina and the takedown.
And tied in a hellhook.
And there's the punches. She's in a leg lock position now. Gina's got to be extra careful. Carano.
Despite lacking experience, she toyed with the world's best female fighter.
For the guillotine. Carano.
Then, to loud cheers from the bloodthirsty audience, the fight turned to a war.
Right hand. Carano in trouble. Cyborg. Pouring it on. Cyborg takes her down.
Carano, getting on top, showed her dangerous ground and pound.
Carano trying to get a good
But
shot.
Cyborg punished every of her actions with double reactions.
Carano telling us that movement was the key. Cyborg catches the body shot.
She pulverized her badly.
Dangerous position for Gina. Under 2 minutes to go in the first round, Carano goes down. Cyborg.
The finishing sequence was out of a horror movie.
Now ground and pound. So Cyborg to beat. Oh, big right hand. Carano's in trouble. 8 seconds. She's not answering. Carano getting pounded. She better watch out. Cyborg.
Carano decided she would become an actress that night, and she has not fought since. Cyborg versus Jan Finney. Defending her title against Jan Finney, the damage inflicted by Finney to Cyborg's fists was nothing short of extraordinary. The women opened up like they had a beef tube to settle. Realizing windmills, Cyborg rocked her rival, who foolishly decided to exchange fire with her. Her long right hands felt like cannonballs.
Lewy, prawy, prosty, koniec walki będzie. Nie wie jak obronić się przed tą agresją, przed tą siłą.
Dropping her rival easily and making her opponent mop the canvas with every shot. She aimed knees at her baby factory. The referee temporarily stopped Finney's nightmare.
Padają kolejne ciosy. Lewy, prawy, hammer fist. Cały czas głowa Amerykanki jest obijana. Jak wygląda po 3 minutach?
Cyborg released vicious ground and pound with no
Kolejne
remorse.
ciosy dochodzą do jej głowy. Niby jest gdzieś ta ręka, ale ta ręka całkowicie...
At this point, the fight was now a crime scene.
Nie jestem fanem kobiecego MMA. Ale to...
Unlocking the damage meant for multiple opponents, the female Steve Mazzagatti stopped the beatdown, and Cyborg had eviscerated yet another opponent. Cyborg versus Daria Ibragimova. The night she faced Daria Ibragimova, she again exhibited her monstrous knockout power. Landing a picture-perfect right hand, the one shot found her opponent's power button, and it was night-night before she even touched the floor. The follow-up hammer fists were in array, but her opponent was already on her way to the Shadow Realm. Cyborg versus Julia Budd. Making her Bellator debut after departing the UFC in August, she had a massive title fight against the Bellator featherweight champion Julia Budd. Budd had won 11 straight coming in and had not lost since 2011 against Ronda Rousey. Going against the Giant, Budd massively outsized Cyborg. At the end of the first round, she had devastated her opponent with brutal ground and pound. And Cyborg opened the second round with the kind of ferociousness only seen in the male divisions. Showing no preference between the head and torso, she ended Julia Ford in the second round. It was a brutal display of aggression, the likes of which fans who have followed Cyborg's career have become familiar with. Cyborg versus Sinead Kavanaugh. Going against this giant, the result was more than what everyone had bargained for. With an almost 70-inch reach, she pelted Sinead Kavanaugh with long punches.
Midsection, another knee to separation.
Unleashing a big right hand all the way from Curitiba. She again defended her Bellator featherweight titles. Cyborg versus Cat Zingano. In October 2023, she had a deep rivalry against another established veteran, Cat Zingano. As the fight neared, Cyborg stayed away from trash talk, though she and Zingano shared several tense stare-downs on fight week. When they finally met in the cage, there was only one aggressor. Missing her kryptonite right hand by inches, she reversed a takedown attempt, repelling Zingano's every attempt with wild punishment.
Zingano has her in trouble, ground and pound from Cyborg. Zingano was turtling.
She rained down hammer fists, and that was the end of the fight.
Up on top, ground and pound, hammer fist from the champion. It's over.
Zingano appeared visibly upset as Cyborg tried to console her in the cage, and an emotional Zingano could be seen having a verbal altercation with Cyborg moments after. After the verbal altercation, Cyborg shrugged her shoulders and celebrated with her team in what was the 5th defense of her featherweight title. With the win, Cyborg completed a 5th successful defense of her featherweight championship belt and a 7th fight win streak since the loss to Amanda Nunes. Cyborg versus Precious McCrae. Cyborg's boxing remains her strongest weapon, and when she was not offered a fight by the PFL, the Brazilian is allowed by contract to compete in boxing matches. So on the 17th of May, 2025, the Queen of Violence took on Precious McCrae, and from the onset, she showed better striking than boxers.
And Cris?
Doing what Conor McGregor couldn't do, the MMA fighter was dominant. She ate the boxer's hardest punches. Adopting the hit and don't hit doctrine, she weaved punches.
Oh, big overhand right from Cris.
Releasing swift and precise counterpunches, Cyborg made her opponent do the chicken dance.
This is a good test. Oh, she hurt her. She hurt her. She's hurt.
The follow-up shots was out of a nightmare, stunning the dizzy McCrae with a dozen shots. The referee ended the horror affair.
They're gonna get an 8 count here in a second. She's just reaching for it.
That's it. That's it.
Beautiful.
Cyborg versus Kelsey Wickstrom. Similarly, when she crossed paths in the boxing ring against Kelsey Wickstrom, Cyborg came for one thing only, the knockout. Employing a 68-inch reach, she rocked her rival against the ropes. Sneaking in an MMA-esque elbow, she was the aggressor. A big right hand annihilated her rival, and that was the end of the contest.
Wickstrom is down and out.
Cyborg is an immortal, and the Brazilian has beaten the pioneers of women's MMA, the second wave and the third wave. She is the only MMA fighter in history to become a Grand Slam champion, holding world championships across 5 major MMA promotions. Cyborg is widely regarded as one of the greatest female mixed martial artists of all time, having held the UFC, Strikeforce, Invicta FC, and Bellator titles. She is no doubt one of the most accomplished fighters ever. Now, at the tail end of her career, we can all agree that Cyborg is the last magical fighter, a vanished breed, and the best fighter of more than a generation. Hopefully, movies will be made about Cyborg in the future. How high do you rank her among the greatest women in MMA history? Let us know in the comments. If you want to see more interesting videos on fighting legends, subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like.